So I put this together a couple days ago. Um, hey, there's the old smoker, and you can see why the old smoker is getting replaced. Firebox is all rusted out. So new smoker. I put it together. I put some felt around the doors. I didn't feel like the door seals were very good, just with what was in there. I put some felt around the firebox door, some felt around the smoke cabinet door. I also went around and sealed up all the seams with some high temp silicone. That's all stuff that I would definitely do. Anybody who buys this smoker. I also went and touched it up with and put a couple of coats of some high temp spray paint on it, the kind of spray paint you might use to repaint your grill after it's gotten rusted after a couple of years. That's my old one. You can see it sits outside. You can see all that rust around the firebox. I just kind of wanted to see if it'll last a little bit longer. This is what happens to mine over time, is the firebox eventually rusts out or some other part of the body rusts out. I was just curious if this makes any difference. I had it in the garage. That part of the modification I don't think is really necessary. That's just me kind of goofing around a little bit. At any rate, when I put it together, I noticed the seams. I noticed all the places smoke might get out, and I tried to seal up everything I could. There were a couple of things that I didn't notice right away. One of the things is the fit on the door. How the door actually fits to the cabinet is kind of off, right? I've got it's in there, but it's definitely low on one side. That is clearly just the way it's supposed to fit because the latch fits on there perfectly. That's not a big deal. It's just, I don't know, I just thought it was kind of interesting. I have noticed even with my felt, I lose a little smoke right there. I've noticed even with the felt around the firebox door, I still lose some smoke over here. And if you see here, right, the end with the latch obviously doesn't close as much. I might put an extra layer of felt in there, just in this corner, see if I can seal that up a little bit. Basically, not too shabby. I think the most interesting thing is the size of the air vents versus the size of the chimney, right? I mean, if you look at this, it's about, and I'm ballparking here, it's about 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches, right? So let's just call it 2 by 2, 4 square inches for fun. It might be a smidge bigger than that, but not a lot. Each one of these vent holes is probably about 1 inch by 3 or 4 inches. So there's 4 square inches for each hole. That might be 4 square inches for the whole thing. And what that really means is don't open this thing up all the way. If you got that open all the way and you open this thing up all the way, you're gonna lose smoke all over the place. I'll do that just for fun. So I got a whole bunch of air now feeding my fire. Incidentally, I only have about maybe a half basket of charcoal in there. At the moment, I'm just doing the seasoning. But if I wait long enough, I'll find that I'm gonna lose a lot more smoke here. And I'll even have smoke eventually start to come out of the grease trap at the bottom, although at the moment that's looking pretty good. So that's my only feedback there, is that you have way too big of an air inlet here. I suppose that might come in handy if I'm having trouble getting the temp up. We'll see. I was just listening. I opened up that air and I can actually hear flames ignite inside of there. I can hear crackling. It definitely is, it's slow to come up to temp over here in the smoke box, and that's okay. That's pretty normal. This has been going for, I don't know, at least 15 minutes or so with the charcoal in there, and it's only gotten up to about 150. I really don't care if it takes a little while to get up to temp. My biggest concern is that it stays at temp really stable, and that I don't have to refeed that firebox every hour. And that's what I probably have the most concern about. This is a very thin gauge metal. I'm really curious to see how well it holds heat. There's no water bowl or water bowl tray underneath there. Water bowls are really great. Obviously, it keeps it moist in there, but more than anything, it increases the humidity, which stabilizes your temperature. Dry air can drop in temperature or raise in temperature really, really quickly. That's why in the desert at night it gets really cold, because it's all dry air, and dry air can change in temperature really fast. Moist air, the water in the air, will stabilize temperature. It will not go up really quickly, which means that if you accidentally overstoke your fire, it's not going to get super hot. You turn around and go, oh my gosh, it's an extra 75 degrees. It also means that as your fire gets low, it should take it longer for the air chamber to cool off. So you don't, on the other side of that, you don't miss filling the firebox, turn around and go, oh my gosh, it's 100 degrees in there. So I will probably take, that water bowl is from the old one. It's a little small for this. I'm sure I have something that I can make work and turn into a water bowl or a water tray to sit on the bottom. As a secondary thing, the water tray almost always ends up becoming a primary grease trap. You end up having to clean that thing out. It gets really nasty. Never leave your water bowl in there with the grease in it. You'll have some really fun stuff growing in your smoker. But at any rate, not too bad. I'm leaking a little bit of smoke. I can chase that down. I can't imagine what it would have been like if I hadn't closed up all these seams across the top, across the bottom, around here. It was just like, you could just see light escaping all over the place. So we'll see. Looking good.